To enjoy Vit's instant noodles, you need to cook it right. This is how. Put a block of Vit's curry into 400 milligrams boiling water. Add seasoning. Cook for 3 minutes. Serve immediately. When cooking your special migorine, put a block of migorine into 450 milligrams of boiling water. Simmer for 3 minutes and stir gently. Remove the noodle from the water and drain well. Add the fried shallot, seasoning powder, seasoning oil, soy sauce and mix. Serve immediately. Vit's instant noodles. Cook it right for real taste and real value.
VITS Vit's.
Funny, ne register, I wonder why. What confirm? Ne na Chesapeake, cash, enter credit, in a t-shirt. On them they register with phone. Wikipedia, wearing Samsung flat screen TVs, Samsung microwave, Samsung mobile phone. Oh yeah, you can put it in that item car knockout. I'm gonna cheer. What's up with Samsung? The business and give you a promotion. Any joke.
Time Link, in collaboration with JIDA, has put together the Youth in Driving project, where you get trained in driving and equip beneficiaries with driving skills. This is absolutely free. Beneficiaries get opportunity to drive cars and pay in installment. Remember, put on a seatbelt when driving. This is in line with the Better Ghana agenda. What is NPS? NPS stands for Net Promoter Score, and it's a key measurement of customer loyalty. In simple terms, it measures the people who love Vodafone and will recommend it to others and those who wouldn't. NPS is measured by subtracting the percentage of people who don't like us, detractors, from those who love us, promoters. Why should I be interested in improving our NPS? Because a higher NPS score means more revenue and more bonuses for us, and vice versa. As a business, we need to work together towards ensuring we provide excellent network coverage both here and abroad. Develop exciting value offers, continue with life-changing CSR activities, and offer excellent customer experience. It is important as a Vodafone employee to know which areas impact NPS. These are brand perception, network quality, value and tariffs, mobile services, and excellent customer service. Now, let us all work together to raise our NPS score higher.
Vodafone, power to you.
In the last decade, Ghana has gained international recognition for the wrong reason. Narcotics. Narcotics trafficking have grown steadily over the years in Ghana. Smuggling of cocaine in Ghana and other West African countries have increased, with the total seizures of cocaine rising from less than 100 kilos a decade ago to nearly 6,500 kilos in 2009. The World Bank even estimated that cocaine with a street value of $6.8 billion was trafficked through the South region in 2011 from the South Americas en route to Europe.
In the past, what used to be the situation was that people brought the drugs, the cocaine and the heroin, repackaged and sent them outside. So you were a transit point.
We are gradually not just becoming, a transit country, but we are also becoming what? A consumer nation.
As a transit hub, some of the drugs are left in Ghana as a form of payment for those involved. These deposits are consumed in Ghana. Thus, Ghana was getting noted for narcotics trafficking and usage.
The drug menace has a number of potentially negative effects on our country. As our nation continues to be mentioned as a drug transit hub, it affects the kind of attention that we get. We are no longer just getting positive attention, but we're also getting negative attention on the international scene.
This illegal trade grew so slowly that it almost missed the authorities. But before the phrase cocaine coast had entered the international media, the government and the Narcotics Control Board had gone on the offensive.
The NDC government has done and continues to do a lot since it assumed power in the fight against narcotics in Ghana.
The government has taken a very serious stand against drug trafficking.
Thus, the problem of narcotics is fast decreasing in the country.
The trafficking of drugs now, it is under control.
Security have been able to bring some form of control to what transpired earlier. One of the key measures has been the fact that the Narcotics Control Board has been basically empowered to do its work more effectively.
The barons and the traffickers, whatever amount of money that you acquire, if it is not genuine and it is illegal, you are accountable to your Lord.
If you are involved in drugs and you are proud that you are involved in drugs, come out in the open and tell everybody you are in drugs. Otherwise you are a coward. Ghana will win over you and we will find you out. We won't.
Stop doing drugs. This is a public service announcement from the Narcotics Control Board with support from the Ministry of Interior.
At the mention of advocacy, one organization comes to mind, and that is the PUSAC Fund. The Business Sector Advocacy Challenge Fund aims at contributing to the creation of a more enabling business environment for the development and growth of the Ghanaian private sector.
PUSAC Fund is an important partner for Europe and also other development partners. Danida, USAID, we provide support to PUSAC Fund because we all agree that the future of this country, the future of economic development in Ghana is through the development of the private sector.
The specific objective of the PUSAC Fund is to help private sector associations, including farmer-based associations, organizations, in strengthening their capacities.
So as much as we want to help the associations, we want to look at issues that they come up with. We look at the whole application process. We look at the needs of the various districts and what the applications are intended, or objectives that they are intended to serve.
We do have systems to check that there is no diversion of funds or funds are not misappropriated.
With the help of PUSAC Fund, today an association such as Swami Magazine Industrial Development Organization has seen the light of day.
The PUSAC Fund has been a very interesting project for us, but the concept of advocacy has such a wide impact in such that under phase 1 we had very good results already out of the project. One of the major results that we had is an advocacy fund that was won by SMIDO.
Recognized as the largest artisan engineering center in sub-Saharan Africa, the Swami Magazine has been the center of major vehicle repairs and metal works.
Cars ne fra bruchiri ba no bi o ho ebeba no na ne azor ne e baako ne de baako aka ho na e double azor na bi nso ho aka no beba no na e trailer head yetumi ye no long one na aye cargo.
Swami Magazine, an industrial cluster meant for 4,000 artisans as a temporal offer by government, was occupied by over 200,000 artisans. Whilst the congestion left no space for development, the SME cluster, ranked as the largest single employment enclave in Ghana, was and is under legal contention with imminent threat on massive eviction and collapse. The grant will enable the association to train their members on how and why to advocate, thus empowering many of the members to play an active role in the whole advocacy process. The judicious use of business advocacy by PUSAC Fund with support from their development partnership, namely Danida, USAID and the EU, has proven beyond doubt to be an efficient and effective tool.
Danida came up with this idea of improving the advocacy of the private sector and enterprises, and we thought it was a great idea, and we decided something that we would like to support.
Danida was one of the development partners supporting our phase 1 to business advocacy, but that also included DFID and USAID. We had, I think, a very successful implementation of the phase 1. And that led into the second phase, which was supported by Danida and also USAID, and EU also came on board in the second phase of our support to business advocacy.
The aim then was to create, to improve the competitiveness of the
of the enterprises in the private sector, and through improving the business environment and in close dialogue with the government.
So the private sector, as said by the government of Ghana itself, is the engine of growth. And as an engine of growth, how can they make sure that the engine is well run and well oiled, as we may say? And one of the things that the private sector in Ghana needs to know how to do is how to advocate the government to help change bottlenecks that they may have.
All this support we are giving them expecting that at the end of the day, they have what they want in line with our objective.
For us, we're mostly interested in the zone of influence for our Feed the Future programs, which is the SADA North, the northern Ghana, and working in more of the staple crops.
This is aimed at creating an enabling environment for businesses to exhibit their full potentials and also to compete with businesses on the international market. SWOPA is one of such entities that has benefited from the strategic use of evidence-based advocacy.
It is a women's organization set in 1997 by the founder, Melanie Kasisi.
The absence of electricity made it impossible for members of the Sirigu Women's Organization for Poetry and Arts to meet demand and not being able to expand production capacity, product quality and standard. But with the help of BUSAC Fund, SWOPA has been placed on the national grid, making it possible for members to use modernized tools and equipment to improve upon the quality of their products.
In its 8 years of existence, the Business Sector Advocacy Challenge Fund, BUSAC Fund, has enabled businesses to thrive amidst challenges. BUSAC Fund finances through grants up to 90% of the cost of advocacy actions that are selected in each call for concept note.
ZALDA is a community grouping. They form themselves into an association and they really look out for the needs of the community.
At the time the project ended in 2006, the Zanlarugu Dam was not fully completed, but the project ended and therefore funding stopped.
A research was conducted to gather data on the history of the uncompleted irrigation dam, level of completion of the dam, effects on the livelihood of farmers as a result of delay in its completion. Activities were held to enhance the capacity of the selected association members of the concept and practices of advocacy to enable them effectively undertake the advocacy action.
The dialogue meeting, it was really very difficult. It took us more than 2 months to be able to get the assembly and other duty bearers for us to have that particular dialogue meeting.
The GSOP begins by a general orientation of all stakeholders as to what the project is about and the modes of implementation. Districts are supposed to select sub-projects from their medium-term plan, which can be done using labor-based approach. GSOP, because we want to create as much employment as possible, we are using the labor-based methods or labor-intensive methods of construction. So when we see labor-intensive methods, on a scale of let's say 1 to 100, you have labor, unskilled labor especially, taking about 80%, and then equipment taking 20%, so that employment is maximized, to the fullest.
This dam, we constructed it. As you can see, we didn't use machines. It was constructed under our hands, our back, our heads.
Now that they have constructed this dam, we are going to blend the two. In fact, we were using the shea butter as a supplement to the farming. So we are grateful to trucks that led us to BUSAC Fund. And so, we will go back to our original work.
The dam is a multi-purpose dam. It has an irrigation infrastructure which irrigates 9 hectares. Every household has livestock. Without water, they will perish. But with now water available, the livestock have water all year round. They also have the opportunity to do fishery, because then if the dam is stocked, they can engage in aquaculture. Even if it is not stocked, naturally there will be fish which they can also burn, so to also augment their protein needs.
All these has been made possible by the Business Sector Advocacy Challenge Fund, BUSAC Fund, with support from the development partners, namely Danida, USAID and EU.
It was a good idea when the leader in 2004 came up with this concept about improving the business environment in which businesses operate in Ghana.
Business advocacy looks at issues dealing with business regulations.
We have, in the second phase of BUSAC Fund, last 3-4 years, we do look and focus a lot on, as BUSAC Fund, on the results and the likelihood of the effects that can be derived from a support provided.
In 1969, the Ghana Institution of Engineers was officially recognized by the National Liberation Council Decree NLCD 404 of 1969 to regulate the practice of engineering in the country.
When we talk about members, we talk about members of good standing, that is those who are abreast with dues and their levies.
For several years, we have found out that within the country, that is within Ghana, the engineering profession or practice is unregulated.
Had it not been for the BUSAC Fund, it is very unlikely that we would have had the bill passed at the time that it was passed.
Without BUSAC, I don't know what I'll be saying about, on this interview by now, to be zero information. So BUSAC really helps, yes.
Thanks to the BUSAC Fund and the use of evidence-based advocacy, the Ghana Institution of Engineers can now execute their roles in the Ghanaian construction sector.